Hello, Furnkitsun here, showing off our new trading module called the Regional Day Trader. This is a tutorial, and we're going to run through some use cases and what is this trying to solve. So, the Regional Day Trader, the purpose of the Regional Day Trader is to first trade regionally within the name, and the idea is that you are a hauler, and that's how you trade. You trade by hauling someplace, picking up items that are constrained and taking them somewhere else. And so you have sources and targets. So for this example, the target marketplace is Amar. So if we want to sell things in Amar, the regional day trader says you can go to all these locations right now and make this profit right now, and as long as you can get it there in time. So this is not a strategy where you hire PushX and wait 5 days. The strategy is you go right now, because you can go to the market, go to the sell order, buy the item, and take it to Amar, list it on a sell order, and then you can make money on it. So let's do a few examples here. So the target marketplace is Amar. In JITA, we can make 45 billion if we spend 56 billion. So if we spend 56, our revenues will be 100 billion, and the profit's 45. Let's do a drill down. Now we have some manipulation happening. So in Amar, these steel plates are going for almost $1 billion, right? Because they're gone. So there's, and same for this compressed dark glitter. So the items are gone, and people are inflating the pricing. So we're going to give you the ability soon to add these to a blacklist or change the prices manually, so that way you get a better signal. But like these medium capacitor control circuits, that seems very legitimate, right? Or these Drake Navy issues. So these are real profit signals. Currently, if we look through our profit filters, I'm looking for anything that's 20% with a 20% margin. That includes your taxes. I want at least one demand per day, so I know that it's selling. And this minimum item profit is at the line level, because if I go to the bottom, if something, oh sorry, let me stick here within, here we go. So you can see 15 within JITA. The reason I do 15 is that it's just not worth the clicks to list something, because you only get so many, you only get 300 or so market orders, so you want them to make more than just a million ISK. You want them to have some weight to them. So we restrict it to 15 by default. So if you look, well, I'm going to start selecting some things, and I'm going to say, you know what, I want to buy this stuff right here. So in the shopping list, it'll say, okay, that's going to cost you 7.3 billion. It's going to be 264,000 cubic meters. So, I know I can haul that in a freighter. And the profits is right here. I mean, this is several billion ISK worth of profits. I can right click, copy to multi-buy, and then we'll go inside the game, not click on that. We're going to click on multi-buy, import, and here are the items. Now my ESI is about a half hour old, but let's check the pricing. So 7.32, we'll compare that to what the tool says. The tool says 7.32. So it's only off by about 5 million ISK, and that's a half hour ago. So we go down, if everything lines up perfectly, we go down to the penny. So you're going to spend this amount of money, 7.3, and you're going to make, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 billion or so in profits. That is a great rate of return. So if we look, let's dial in at the unit quantity, right? Because we're giving you recommendations on how many to buy. So we're saying, okay, in JITA, right, we're buying 8 Gilas, 4 Sleipners, 3 of these, 8 of these Drakes. Like, why these numbers? Why these numbers? Well, because it's the day trader, you typically don't want to buy more than 1 day of demand. And so if we look at Amar, this is the quantity that sells on a sell order. So we use Adam for Eve metrics in our own KPIs as well to generate, we split the demand, because in Eve, demand is, if you look at a bar graph in Eve, and let's look at it real quick for those who do not know, if you're new to trading. So you have price history and you have these bars, right? And so it says, hey, on this day, there's 3,000 quantity. But Eve does not break out what the quantity went to. So you have quantity that is sold from the sell orders, and then you have quantity that is sold to the buy orders. And Eve does not tell you which direction these things are going. So Adam for Eve takes 15-minute snapshots and it tries to estimate as best it can where the demand went. And so we're doing that too. So that way we can say for this particular item, this is selling on the sell order, which is what you care about because you're going to list this on a sell order. So you would buy these items, you'd put them in your ship, and then you would go from Jita to Amar. You would list these items, and typically 1 day of demand, because normally you're competing against other people, will take a couple days to sell through, and we give you a signal as well called target days of supply. So again, the target is Amar, and so for the Drake there's less than a day, 0.7. Medium capacitor control circuits, there's 2.5 days. These Caldari Navy Inferno light missile launchers, there's about 3 days. So the more days typically indicates more competition, and then the fewer days means there's less competition because the demand is almost gone. You can see there's only 0.1 days of supply for this Steel Plates Tech 2, and that's why the price is so astronomically high. And if you want to do the math yourself, you could take target demand per day, divide it by the target supply units. So these are the units currently listed inside of Amar. So there's 539,000 of these listed. The lowest price is this 3,400 ISK per unit, and it sells this many, 161,000 per day. So you get all of these excellent metrics right at your fingertips. So when you look at this initially, it feels a little overwhelming, but once you start to get the hang of it, it's super powerful. So yeah, another thing we do is you'll notice we have in-transit assets and active sell orders. So if you list these in Amar, so if you bought these, you list them, then it'll pop up here in this column over here, and we will make, how the math works is that you're not going to purchase what you've already listed on an active sell order, because that defeats the purpose of buying 1 day of demand. So if you have it in assets, if you have it in your active sell orders, or if it's in transit, then it will not have you double buy, which is very, very good. So let's talk about in transit real quick. So in Eve, CCP does not tell us what is on the way. And so for us to know what's on the way, we have this little in-transit tab. And so what we can do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that. I'm going to go ahead and copy this from multi-buy. This is really cool, I think. And because I don't want to spend 7 billion ISK on a demo, I'm going to get rid of some of these, and let's just go with some of the cheaper stuff. So I'm going to do 10,000 of these. 3 of that's fine. Let's take that down to 1. We'll take that down to 1. 1. I actually don't like that one at all. 1. Yeah, this is also kind of expensive. So we're going to spend 62 million. I'm going to click buy. So we'll go to corporation deliveries, grab this. We're going to put it in our item hanger for now, and we're going to pretend that we're hauling all of this stuff. So I'm going to grab all these things, and I'm going to put them inside my bustard, right? Because now I'm ready to haul. So this is now going to be in transit. I bought what I want. I'm going to start taking it to Amar. What I can do is I can Control C. So you can Control A to select everything, Control C like you would in Excel. Come over to the tool, go to in transit, paste those in there, and then add to the in transit list, and here it is. So now if we go back and I refresh this to where I update my opportunities again, as if I was doing this for the first time, what you're going to see is in transit, this is now 10,000 units less because I got 10,000 in my cargo hold. This was 115, now it's 114 because I have 1 in my cargo hold. And what this makes sure is that I don't accidentally buy the same thing in all these different systems. See, so even in Lestravik, these missiles, wherever they are at. Oh, there are no missiles here. Let's see, can I find another example? Yeah, here we go. So again, I could purchase the 151,000 Caldari Navy Infernos here, or in Jita, because I've got the number of units I need. So wherever you decide to purchase them first, you put them in transit, and then they'll drop off all the other systems, so that way you don't buy too much on accident. So that's a really nice feature. And then once you get it to Amar, you just list it on the sell order, and the profits will flow. So now let's talk about risk profiles. So this is the profit right now, target profit now. And then we have target period profit. What's happening here? So in risk profile, you can set your price period to how many days you want. You can do 90, 180. I prefer 14. And I like to set minimum period ROI at negative 10%. So what is this doing? So my ROI for all these items is really high because we are attacking constraints. That's the purpose of the day trader. You're attacking constraints in the real time. But sometimes the constraints don't last very long. And so we use this period to restrict things to where we don't make bad purchases. So for example, on this compressed dark glitter, you are going to make anywhere from 8,000% ROI to negative 4% ROI. So you could lose a little bit, but most likely you're going to make a lot. This one right here is probably a better example. So this is a Gila. So this Gila, you're going to make anywhere from 19% to losing 3%. So what you could do, if you don't want to, have anything negative, you could just change that to 0, rerun your opportunities, and now your Gila is going to disappear. So if we start looking for a Gila, the Gila is gone. It's gone because the minimum period ROI on a Gila was negative 3%, and we said we don't want to see anything that's negative. We want to be super safe and only look at things where the 14-day average price is greater than the purchasing price. But if you're crazy, you can just set that to negative 100. And what this is saying is don't look at the period price at all. I only want to look at real-time pricing happening right now. And so what could happen, this is a great example. This Tango Offensive Acceleration Injection Bay, right? You could go to Jita, buy it for 60 million, take it to Amar, sell for 104. There's none left in days of supply. There's only 2 left. They sell 15 per day. So you're probably going to make some good ISK there. However, the target period average price over 14 days is only 44 million. So either you're going to make 63% or you're going to lose 30%. So, right? So the risk is up to you, and everyone's going to have their own strategy, and we encourage that, and more power to you. Also, for assets, just like in the industry trader, you can restrict your asset scope to current character, corporation. You can set up different systems, which we'll show here in a second. Your active orders, again, you can set your active orders to character, corporation, or character groups. So, because oftentimes you just have a particular trader that you're trading with, and to do those, we have a separate tutorial on that. But to do that, you go to your accounting group, new group, type in the name, and then you start dragging and dropping in your characters into your character groups, and then that automatically saves. And then for stations, while I'm here, for market settings, you can go to market settings. You can set up NPC markets. So instead of just the major hubs, you can add in any NPC market you want. You can also do player-owned stations in here as well if you have permissions. So that way, when you go back to the regional trader, your target marketplace, you'll see I've got Constantinople in here and the Tranquility Trading Tower. I mean, you can put any system station you want to station trade in. So this works really well in nullsec as well. If you're wanting to pull items from highsec and then take it out into nullsec, this is what you want. It'll tell you exactly what to do. Let's see. We do put shipping in here too, so you can put ISK per M3, rerun it, and then there'll be a shipping cost that populates. Other than that, I think this about covers it. So we will be launching this very soon. On April 25th, we're having an event, so feel free to stop by for that, and then we'll answer any questions live. And we hope you guys enjoy the trader. There is no tutorial, or excuse me, there is no uh, free option. So usually we give folks a 30-day trial period, and this does not have a trial period because it's way too powerful. So the data that you're going to see here is as fresh as it's going to get, and anytime we show the station, anytime we show the regional day trader, we're going to be using the tutorial to show it off, not real time, because we want the folks who are paying for it to be able to have those opportunities not being crushed by, you know, everyone else. So we really want to restrict it to those who are paying for this. So that is it. Stop by our Discord. Feel free to ask any questions, ask for more feature requests, and we will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.